Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, ImperialDane, Master Propaganda Hero Strike, Defender of the Fatherland. Whoops. We're off here to an exciting 1 versus 1 on La Glaze. Between the south, we got here Johan fighting for the Soviet Union, socialism. Taking on the role here, the 3rd Guards Tank Corps. Versus the north, we got ImperialDane himself fighting here for the Oberkommando West, Germany, Deutschland, the 17th Panzerdivision. With breakthrough doctrine immediately chosen, with infantry, Sturmoffizier and Oberson bulletins versus guard motor parts and counterattack tactics here for Johan, with infantry and mine bulletins here for Johan as well. Into a conscript engineer start here, with Sturmpioniere and Volksgrenadiers arriving for the German army. Also, we, as you might notice, got a intro back there made by Screaming Mini. It is a bit long, but hopefully he can make it a bit shorter. Talk to him about that. So yeah, big thanks to Screaming Mini for making me a new intro, which looks kind of cool. So big thanks there. I hope you like it. If you don't, of course, I suppose you can remove it. But I mean, there always seems a lot of people missed it anyway. So you know, we're back to that. But while going up here, quickly preparing the battlefield ahead here. Sturmpanzer moving straight for the fuel. Volksgrenadiers moving out here for the German army, advancing slowly for the Reich. And then constantly moving eastwards there. So Johan there going for a lot of infantry right off the bat to secure the point here. Looks like he's heading towards here. Northwards, Kuvan following up. They're sort of with the infantry on issues putting out. Again, sort of get a Kuvan up there to then secure territory afterwards. Infantry keeping the enemy occupied, and then Kuvan just securing territory. In the meanwhile, engineers are spotting a Volksgrenadier squad quickly falling back. Sturmpanier secured eastern fuel. And sandbags up here to help defend the munitions point. So far, no real shots fired there between the two sides. Kuvan almost done. Johan there floating with a manpower, probably is planning to take up afterwards. And after the two conscript squads, could be support weapon company, or could be he's actually planning on going then penal troopers afterwards. It's not a lot of players to do it, but a few players actually sort of go for some infantry and then straight into penal troopers afterwards. There you go, shots fired here. Sturmpanzer's conscript. There we can see Johan immediately just retreats there. Johan, by the way, I think is sort of roughly in the top 100 range for the Soviets. But there you go, push back there. That was basically not an engagement he could win anyway, so he made the right decision there, just retreating as soon as possible, minimizing overall damage, and of course ensuring he doesn't feed my Sturm pioneers any experience. Volksgrenadiers pulling away here, not to engage the unit in heavy cover. Since there's no real heavy cover for them, that's basically just going to be a more or less losing engagement for the Volksgrenadiers. Instead, I'm trying to pull up here, hope the conscripts go into their range of fire, and then deal with them that way. Kublavac with infantry support into the centre. Scout car there for Johan, so indeed he did go for the Special Rifle Command here. Could then follow up with penal troops. Could also go for a lot of scout cars. Sandbags up here. Kuvan dealing with the conscript there. Now we've got the Volksgrenadiers. Now all of a sudden the conscript going to attack from two sides. So I'm making it easy for me to attack head on. There we go. Kuvan gets there. Pushkin, leaving him quite dead. And there you go. In fact, he's too occupied with the Kuvan, allowing my Volksgrenadiers to get close here, which pretty much allows me to win the engagement here. At the same time, their Volksgrenadiers with a sandbag some engaged by the conscripts. Penal troops following up in the scout car there for Johan and the 3rd Guards Tank Corps. Going straight for the fuel here, Volksgrenadier support. Got the M301 scout car there for Johan, and here the Volksgrenadiers just continue to fire up at the conscripts. Slight exposure there, so some are dying. We got more Volksgrenadiers around. We also get take up going up there for the German army. Sturmpionier moving in here. So far, real good early moments for the 17th Panzerdivision, aggressively attacking and then pushing back Johan. Limited resistance, so of course that will soon change for the scout car and the penalties they're arriving. Volksgrenadiers Kuban there, Kuban quickly falling back, trying to sort of build up distance between it and the scout car before it gets destroyed. With the Volksgrenadiers there basically just buying time. And there you go, flamethrowers up. In fact, they're just going to end up with a quick retreat there soon enough. More troops arriving here. Conscripts they're holding out in the house, but they are quickly getting overwhelmed here with the amount of German firepower being brought to bear. Sturmoffizier they're available, and they're going to need to call him in. I like using the Sturmoffizier myself. He boosts the infantry nearby reasonably well. I think it's about 11% or 10% actually bonus and a 10% rate of fire bonus roughly, so overall gives us a nice boost there. And combat ability can also allow us to catch opponents who are not so good on the unit preservation, a bit off guard. Scout car there suffering quite heavily, but ultimately just a fat retreat from here, as overall this is not going to be a very sensible engagement for me to fight out. So rather than trying to waste more manpower, hoping to do a bit of extra damage, I just pull back the entire thing and sort of get ready for the next big push. But of course it allows here Johan to just sweep ahead, because there's absolutely nothing to block him down. In that regard, I could have laid down some mines here and there, but I think I'd most got some down by the victory point in the east, and that's it. We can see here, though, Johan there rushing ahead aggressively. He's trying to set up blocking position, basically in this case go for the house, in which case can slow me down, making it hard for me to move ahead, because I can't ignore this, because that threatens my cutoff point. So a bit of a risky, but also I think rescue move there, but again, could work out pretty well there, depending how well it goes. In this case, we've got the officer supporting some full grenadiers, and they do get combat boosts here, so again, the conscript there will not last too long against this. He's already low on health, so again, didn't quite work out. He probably was not expecting the storm officer, since most Oberkommandeurs players don't actually bother with him. Pretty sure I'm one of the few who does on any regular basis. Battle group headquarters up there, full squad is sitting up. We've got the points being secured, down to 1 man. We can see that Johan sort of gets a bit, you know, pushy there with his men, trying to sort of get as much out of them before he has to fully retreat them and enforce them. Just trying to gain as much ground away from me. So in that regard there, some hard decision made by Johan. Big assault here, Sturm Pioneers, Volksgrenadiers, Strafnicki, all finding out here in the town square. The Germans basically outmaneuvering them, overwhelm them, pretty much ensuring here they will not be able to last long. But there you go, flame for the scout car here on the job. And of course, because I was late in getting up at battle group headquarters, I actually don't have a Panzerfaust to stop this, so this quickly turns a bit ugly. Back here, reinforcement. Battle group headquarters almost done. Full swing about there. Kuvrang, by the way, all forgotten all the way up there. But Johan here stabilizing the situation here versus the 17th Panzer Division. And there you go, Kuvrang getting a bit too close to the penal troopers there. Luckily doesn't have the munitions for a satchel charge. Big reinforcement going on, but there you go, we got the pursuit on the scout car there, rolling away rapidly from the fascists. And here folks are supporting the Kuban in his retreats, desperately trying to get away there. Penal troops out in the open, they're taking fire from the Volksgrenadiere, their K9TKs singing out as they try to silence the Russians. Sadly, without any real cover there, the penal troops will ultimately win there. And now with the scout car round to flank them, that is very much the call sign for retreat. Bigger push going on for the centre. We got the officer here with the Volksgrenadiers, they're holding up there. More troops arriving, and Raketen with loads of support there versus the scout car as well. Kublwagen fixed up, mostly. A few leaks here and there, not sorted out. There you go, got the scout car running straight into territory there. They'll be on the range of a flanking placement. Does take a few hits here to the rear. In the centre there, we got fighting going on there. Volksgrenadiers, Sturm Office here. Large engagement here. Overall, scout car slightly falling back. Sturm Pioneers, Kublwagen not going to tempt fate here. Slow pressure against the conscripts inside the house. We got 2 penal trooper squads, 2 conscripts. Certainly a rare force composition there for any Soviet play. You generally don't see them, you know, mix them up like that. Interesting note, he doesn't actually have any doctrines who really benefits from conscripts either, so certainly makes it more interesting. Penal troopers standing about here, Raketen coming out to help deal with enemy scout cars and other vehicles that Johan might be tossing at me. He's all keeping up good pressure here and there, certainly gaining now most of the map despite my initial advantage. Quick Panzerfaust there on the M3A1. All of this happening, got penal troopers setting off a mine, but overall here just pressure, comes out, no need to be careful again. Sturm Officer does provide some pretty good boosts for nearby infantry, and there we go, he almost loses the entire unit. Almost, but not quite. Meanwhile, though, big push here, sensing an opportunity to maybe get the scout car. German infantry supported by the Kuban charge forwards. Alright, Helmut, I want you to shoot at that scout car with your rifle. But what if it doesn't penetrate? Just keep shooting, eventually it will. There you go, moving in there with a Panzerfaust. Helmut might just be able to get it off there in time, and even popping breakthrough attacks here, but to quickly cut off territory. And there you go, Panzerfaust off. Gets the M3A1, leaning at nothing but a smouldering hulk of metal. And a quick counterattack down here. Sturm Pioneers going in the hunt for the penal troopers there. Up here, more healing reinforcement with another trot on the way. Let's go for Schwerer Panzer headquarters. And there you go, Strafnicki break off there. And we got some penal troopers there cut off, but he's not making a move as of yet. Sturm Officer providing support from inside the cafe. Yes, I'd like another coffee. That's what not we're here for, Herr Oberleutnant. Get me more coffee, or you will get hit with the business end of my pistol. I suppose pistol whipped would be more better way to say it. So get with that coffee. Schnell. Penal there versus Volksgrenadiers, light cover versus no cover. In this case, they don't quite pull into light cover. So the penal there might just have the edge there. Truck arriving. Still, breakthrough just allowed me to cut off a lot of his rifle territories and just sort of re-establish control to an extent there. Versus Johan, it's a, I think, pretty good ability that tends to get underestimated. Particularly just really great for harassing territory and cutting off a large chunk of your opponent's economy. You see that big infantry push into northwest here, trying to catch the Kublwagen there. Can he get off a satchel charge? Ah, not quite in the nick of time there. Not quite. Johan, though, is taking up. They've got the tank with the tank command going up into space. We've got the spare planted quarters going up there by the fuel to help defend that against any Russian harassment. Normally, again, I tend to be more cautious about playing my spare planted quarters out like that, but on a map like Glades, in particular how the position is, fuel is positioned, it's pretty good because it's over a lot harder for them just to drop up and begin shooting away at the terrain. Makes it a lot harder just, you know, push forward hard and destroy it. So I feel more comfortable today up to defend the fuel point, which is sort of more further off there. Infantry all of a sudden surrounding the Sturm Officer with his Volksgunner's assistance. But there you go, quickly using target them on the conscript there to quickly bring down some of the numbers. But ultimately they're just too many rations, and there you go, just quick retreat before wasting any more manpower. At the same time down here we got more harassment going on, trying again to sort of sneak behind. Johan cut off his territories, just deal economic damage, slow him down, of course, you know, stop him from moving towards my territories. But the Sturm Pioneers, they might push their luck in this regard. There was no real exit strategy, and there's certainly a small chance of there getting a wipe, which would certainly be quite unpleasant. But of course quite pleasant for Johan and the 3rd Guards Tank Corps. Following up with some Obersoldaten, more hardened men of the 17th Panzer Division. Since I don't have to take to hours to spend my resources on, I figure some Obersoldaten would be a better way to sort of just pressure his penal troopers and the likes, and of course also works nicely with the Sturm Officer. There's a lot of back and forth here so far within the first 11 minutes of the game there. Now the player really getting any rest, and there you go, full squad wipe. It's got 2 flamethrowers all of a sudden. They're attacking it, wiping it before it can really react. That was quite a harsh loss. And there it goes, pushing straight up. He just big push from Johan, big infantry push. Trying to slow down here with Brandhand gun out of the lights, pretty quickly into the house, which he should have blocked, but at the same time he couldn't because of the double flamethrowers would have just resulted in another unit getting wiped. We got also now flanking from the other side here as he just keeps pressing up there. No light vehicles yet there from Johan and his tank with tank command. Of course, aiming for a mechanized armor company. Heavy fire here, Sturm Officer with the Sturm Pioneer doing what they can. The Obersoldaten flanking in there with the counter TKs. And we can see Johan's assault though quickly does end up losing steam, but not before doing a lot of damage to me. So that was some pretty brutal fighting here in the northeast of La Glaise. And go off to charging forward support here by the Obersoldaten. Quickly getting some hits there. With more troops pushing in, and the conscripts blocking any sort of further movement for me, at least for the time being. And as all this is happening, he's harassing the east again. Having lost more men to mines, which I laid down again because, you know, if a mine goes off one time, it's likely going to go off another time if you put down more. Send orders! Yeah, I'm over here! I said over. Ah, shit, they keep moving, don't they? So don't expect me, or no? Those assholes. Anyway, it's also moving up. They're grabbing the fuel or the munitions there. Troop reinforcing, healing, repairing. Sometime forward, get out any panzers. As for him, we're yet to see anything from it. We see he's gone for doctrine, and it is counter-attack tactics, which has grown in popularity with some players that like to go for the KV8 if the sort of, well, not KV8 but KV1, if they sort of feel like the situation lasts for it. In this case, he tried to bait me into surrounding the corner and get into the satchel charge, instead he just blew apart a lot of masonry. There you go, big infantry push here again from Johan, big push. You could call in some shock troopers if you want to get up some fuel caches, but he seems to be putting all of his efforts there towards the KV1 heavy tank. Very close to it now, very close. Again, we're like seconds away from it. A few more shots here and there. Kuba moving about in the north, harassing, taking back territory. MD Fit for right up there with infantry. There we go, we got the KV1 tank out there for Johan. I think most KV tanks, though, by 1944-45 in the way, would have been KV-85s, which are basically KV tanks with a bigger gun and a bigger turret, with also more armor on it. I like K1 tank, they're riding rapidly, again favourite with some players because it allows you to get sort of heavy tank there fast and pressure the opponent without having to take up for it. Of course, once the patch hits, the full balance period hits, it'll of course be less viable. But there you go, moving ahead with the K1 there, supporting the penal troopers, the conscripts, rolling ahead for the motherland, blasting the fascists. 76.2mm gun. Kedmev arriving, big push here in the east. We got Flotilla versus penal troopers, veteran 3 versus veteran 1. The over engagement continues here. We got like Kedmev going up, also by the booster here by the Sturm Officer, landing good hit there against the K1 tank. So advance their second hit there also penetrates the frontal armour of the K1 and just keeps blasting away at the advancing German troops. Another shot fired there, but this time fails to make any impact there against the Obersoldaten in heavy cover. Flame throws moving up there to sort of cover there from inside the house. Pretty good position. We've got a quick bundle grenade, the Gebalteladung, and he quickly pops out in the open there, gets suppressed, even takes a few losses there from the grenade itself before finally routing the entire lot. We can also see here that Johan pulls back his K1 tank, and hang on, Cat wants to get in. Break. Hello, Rasputin. My apologies. Cat does what the cat wants to do. Screwing the point there. This is Sturmoffizier, who has so far managed 9 kills for the fatherland. Single-handedly. K1 tank there being fixed up. Fun fact, the K1 actually had an issue with its turret. If it got hit, it would actually have a tendency towards jamming up. As a fun side note there. Another issue was the K1 was actually pretty expensive to make and not that easy either. So ultimately they sort of were working to way, you know, not making them anymore. But they sort of tried different ways to sort of make it, you know, more viable. They included one lighter version, but the problem was it was, you know, basically like a T-34, then just more expensive to make. More engineers there for Johan, probably support his armor. Got the K1 moving through here, the center, Ken with the creeping about, hiding about. Big push into the east, also more harassment from the west, but the Kuhlbahn could likely go down. Panzer IV almost landing here for the 17th Panzer Division. Yet to get any upgrades for the Obersoldaten. There we go, Kuhlbahn trying to get away with that, slightly not going to happen. K1 widing here. Looks like he's hoping for something to have a success somewhere. We also think that's some mines down there. MP34 covering the corner house here, sort of to make it hard for him to get it. And they're going to be sneaking up towards the centre. They're flanking up behind the German troops here. Good work by Johan. No shock troopers though yet. And the Kuhlwagen here is in a bit of trouble. He's popping into tank grenades. He does not because he has not researched them. And there you go. Got the Panzer IV blasting through into the cemetery here. Going straight for the penal troopers. Crashing into the church too. I hate those Russians so much. Yeah, but you don't have to drive into the bloody church for that, Ludwig. Stop doing that. The Panzer can't take it. There you go, Pumas are dispatched by the Panzerkampfwagen 4 here. Echelon 6 running to support Johan's KB1 there versus the Panzer IV. Plus, of course, doubles as artillery support, meaning it's a pretty good investment there for Johan. In from there, slowly moving ahead. Panzer IV running to support. Sturmoffizier there, grabbing points. Got the Kenneth as well here. Really close there to the mine battle. We got more mines. In fact, we see Johan is laying down a lot of mines. Good work there. Good work. The Kenneth lands good in the K1. Panzer IV bounces. In fact, keeps bouncing. The K1 in their hand has no issues. Fun fact is, by 1944-45, the Panzer IV would actually have more armor than the K1, which actually only had about 60mm of frontal armor non-slope, whereas the Panzer IV would have had 80mm. So technically, the Panzer IV should have more armor here, and of course, Panzer IV Model J does, but the Wehrmacht Panzer IV does not. Also, better gun, to be honest. But there you go. Panzer IV then moving about, looking to deal with other targets. No point in Tank 40 again. I'm kind of worried about mines, which is why I'm not pushing too far ahead there. Again, I've got this sense that Johan is an aggressive miner. And again, most players tend to be. Which again means if you make a mistake with your Panzer IV, something like that, you can end up in a bit of a bad spot. So, I'm being a bit paranoid here, in particular since I've lost my Sturm Pioneers and can't actually fix up the Panzer IV at the moment. So, that further sort of incentivizes me towards not pushing it ahead there like it's a bloody Tiger Ace. But a second MG34 here ready to support the frontline Truppen. The far west they got comes there, we got also moving ahead. Still no upgrade on them though, really. Should get around to that. But again, I end up spending my munitions and everything else but the light machine gun upgrade. With a maximum on the way there for Johan and the Guards tank core going straight to your head. Falling a bit behind, and up here we got Bunham. Oh, Blenkerb actually against the conscripts. We get secure points there. And a unit wiped out. He has to hit a mine on a retreat. Bit of a loss there. And there you go. Strofny going straight for the church. They're popping a satchel charge. Hoping to blow it up before I can realise. And there you go. Almost pulled it off, but only almost. Fresh pressure into the centre here. Units scribbling ahead. K1 waiting in reserve, ready to sort of exploit any opening, but so far none are being provided. Going here for Panzer Fusiliers when I really should be going for Sturm Pioneers. I think I actually hadn't realised my Sturm Pioneers are dead. I'm just thinking I need the Panzer Fusiliers more, just some infantry out there to pressure my opponent after and off the other one. Up here more attacking, Sturm Officer with Volkskönig versus the Strafniki. But again, with the Sturm Officer support here, the penal troops don't actually stand much of a chance against all of this. Again, the Sturm Officer is pretty good. Up here, below Panzer IV Kenner fighting versus the K1. Not really having much luck penetrating its armour. And the ultimate, though, quick bun hand grenade before retreating. Johan there basically launching 2 attacks. You could also, try and launch a big assault going up behind me here, trying to that way catch me off guard. But so far, he does not seem to have any plans for that. Panzer Fusilier spearheading a counter-attack here, supported by the Panzer IV to defend the eastern victory point there from Johan's 3rd Guards tank. Corby got more mines down here. Again, very thorough mining. Good work to see there by Johan. Gute Arbeit, Leute. Down here pushing forward with the Panzer IV, catching the Infantry 6 here, but suddenly realising I might in fact be pushing too far ahead with my Panzer IV. And quickly pull back here before actually risk losing the Panzer IV, which would be pretty critical. I am lucky though, again, Johan has not upgraded for anti-tank grenades. Oh, so that Panzer IV would have been dead. I mean, that was all a pretty poorly done move. In this case, he gets lucky and actually gets a single hit that wipes my Panzer Fusilier squad. I mean, the 4 remaining members. That was quite a brutal hit there. Quite costly for me. Finally getting the Sturm Pioneers because now I need them, because otherwise I can't get my Panzer IV back in the fight. Mines going down in the centre. Conscripts remaining there in cover. I don't know. You probably better off with the maximum there or something. Engineers prevented from mining there. K1 rolling about. Point secure there. People swimming up here. Overall, I'm just more on the back foot because I'm constantly losing infantry at this moment. Constantly, but I'm losing several squads. And I'm waiting for my Panzer IV to get repairs. In that regard, again, my mistake was not getting out Sturm Pioneers faster. But even as all of this is happening, as I'm getting struck here on the east centre, I am pushing forward on the west here with my orbital down that way, looking to harass and outmaneuver my opponent. Now the Sturm Officer let assault into the centre, catches my opponent a bit off guard there, regaining at least that. Now we can see though that most of the weight here for Johan is on the right flank of the map there, and could certainly threaten me. But he does actually now disperse it, pushing forces towards the west to defend there, so that kind of works out for me. There we go, pushing against the maximum there. Suppress, which means the forces can more easily attack it. And there you go, push back the maximum. We got a counter-attack here though. Engineers, penal troops and the K1 successfully push back the Sturm Officer. But there you go, Panzer IV almost fixed up. Almost. And harassing the western fuel point there. And then again he's too preoccupied here, which actually is, quite to my advantage. But he's actually managed to secure all 3 victory points now. And it's now in the process of bleeding out the German army, the 17th Panzer Division, of victory points. He's also brought up a T-70 to help control infantry and actually make it hard for me to harass him. So that's sneaky as well there by Johan. Bit of something there. Go tries to mine again, but runs into the MG-34. Again, he seems to forget it can just see right about there and actually shoot him there. So I almost secured the western fuel point, but ultimately didn't quite pull it off. The Panzer IV goes back in action. Thankfully has mine here. Well, as I mentioned, things will be a lot more harsh for my Obersoldaten. 2nd Panzer on the way here, mostly because of the way he handles his infantry, but also because he just need more armour out, and I need to do something to sort of try and break the stalemate. So I don't really feel like time-wise I can get away with the Panther, and I don't feel like a Yak Panther is going to do me a lot of good. Also note there, you can see more mines being laid down here. Again, he's trying to make it hard for me to push ahead. In fact, he's laid down 2 mines pretty close to each other there. Panzer IV, they're supported by the machine gun they're dealing with, people defending the eastern victory point. Thankfully didn't have enough munitions to pop a satchel charge on that one. Oh, so that would have been a pretty bad move by me, to be honest. Still haven't upgraded my Obersoldaten. There's a bit up, but there you go, Panzer IV pushing towards the centre there. Also, we got a field gun up here now for Johan and the 3rd Guards tank corps. Shots fired, missed. There you go. Minesweeper's up because, again, he's laying down mines and not taking any chances. Another hit, then the Panzer IV already down to half health. Up, you got the 2nd Panzer IV that I'm here for the 17th Panzer Division. Field gun, in fact, almost knocking out my Panzerkampfwagen 4. And we got Samex going down. So you can see that Johan is sticking on around the centre here. That's obviously going to be a big problem for me. Mines going down the west flank as well. So again, he's actually taking care to sort of secure his flanks against any sort of big armoured assault. So he's not going into full Stalingrad mode again. He's aware again that I will likely, and at some point, try and push around this, sort of try and outmaneuver him that way. So pretty good work there by Johan. Pretty good work. Again, you can see there's very thorough mining all over the place. MG-34 switch to defend the eastern victory point, by the way. No further tech up though for Johan. Also, not really anything besides a KV-1 from the doctrine. No shock troopers, no recon overflight, no B4s, no nothing. Just a lot of mines. Alright, Petrov, be careful when you put it down. We don't want you to blow off your arms like the last Petrov. The last Petrov? Yes. We had 3 Petrov so far, and for some reason, every single Petrov always somehow managed to detonate the mines while setting them down. But there you go. As you can see now, we're setting up for the big assault here. In this regard, I'm actually, you know, taking advantage of one mistake. In fact, that was actually recently common for the Russians to do during Operation Barbarossa. I mean, they laid down minefields, they built obstacles, all that. The problem was, though, they wouldn't actually do a lot to defend them. And here's sort of a trick about a lot of mines to an extent, you know. I mean, they only work to an extent if you can actually defend them or watch them. Otherwise, again, you know, just get up some minesweepers, deal with them, in which case, you know, they're nothing. That's basically what's happening on the western flank now. I'm basically making a big push here. Minesweepers ahead, folks going to supporting. 2 Panzer force moving in. As you can see, they now have to all of a sudden switch everything towards the west reactors, and that means I can actually catch them off guard. And that's really one reason why I say, you know, switch your axis of attack. You know, don't just keep attacking the same spot, because it suddenly means you can catch your opponent from an angle they're not expecting to have reaction moves. Lost another Sturmpire squad into the K1, which is just really landing some astoundingly nasty hits on my forces. But there you go. In this case, I'm actually ignoring the K1. I'm going straight for the assault gun because, well, that's a big effect to my Panzer force. Plus, in this case, I end up catching the T-70 light tank as well. My Panzer IV getting red T2 there. Oberleutnant Richter advancing here with his Panzer force. And there you go, the T-70 is going down, knocking out 2 of his vehicles. And avoiding most of his anti-tank fire. And of course, the way here again, the terrain is set up, it makes it hard for his field gun to actually catch my tanks now. Falling back here with both Panzer force. Getting lost as German Pioneer Squad, not a good loss, but I got an assault on the T-70, which will overall give me a lot more freedom. Plus, I've just sort of signaled to him again, his flanks aren't secure. I mean, he can't just mine them, so again, that might sort of just cause Johan to be a bit more careful now. There you go, securing territory here, fighting up the center. Got Panzers there with a Steelhand Granate, trying to break through the Russen. Sadly, does not work out well. The penal troops then start to have a bit too much of a threat there. He's continuing to pursue the Panzer force with his field gun and his K1 here. Rolling ahead, relentlessly, remorselessly. And quickly replacing the lost assault gun. There you go, got the option, then getting the field gun crew, taking farther from the K1, which just keeps sniping away. Closing in a veteran 2, actually, impressively enough. And Fultz going to deal here, flanking about. A lot of back and forth here. Nothing further sort of happening here, digging around the centre though by Johan, or re-establishing some of the minefields lost there in the west. But again, the reason the assault there was so effective was because, again, all of a sudden he had to switch everything from the east to the west, and again that meant he had to move it, and again that means you can sort of just let it up immediately in optimal positions, because as I'm attacking again, he has to then defend to that, so that makes it a lot harder. Of course, I can also, in theory, pressure up the right flank and I try to attack from here as long as I get some minesweepers on. Of course, I have to replace the minesweeper team. Again, that's like my 3rd Sturm Pioneer Squad too. D45 is going up there. Fortunately, they're flanking the Maxim with a quick, rapid assault. We got the K1 nearby on the lights there. Mine goes off, they're almost wiping out. The Volksgunners need to retreat. Rather schnell. K1 they're trying to murder away. I don't think I'm actually paying attention here. There you go, Panzerfaust need to buy time. Panzerforce arriving, but at the same time I'm realising to an extent here, I think that, hang on, he's bringing up all of it here, so why am I attacking into where he's strongest? That's pretty bad. So I quickly just reposition everything, or at least pull my panzers, because I don't want to be attacking into here. That's just... Well, sure, I mean, if he could pull through and break through and, you know, destroy a lot of things, but rather you're trying to catch him in a bad spot where he's not ready to easily react to me. There you go, losing the punch. In this case, it was too slow to retreat. There you go, pushing up the centre, might be able to wipe his penal troopers. Almost got them wiped here. Also, Johan finally going for anti-tank grenades. There you go, Panzer breakthrough in the centre. Mine goes off, damaging the engine one. The Panzer IV still got the wipe there, and also caught the center. And of course, a lot of mines they could in theory deal with as well. There you go, another mine destroyed. Got the assault guns coming up. Got also on their covering. Panzer IV takes a hit from the assault gun. And creeping up the west side here. Might try and go for deep flank against me. Instead, got the K1 just running straight ahead. Panzer IV, they're trying to get away. Orbital guard in the air. Could in theory try a blend curve, but to block off here. I do not. Instead, the K1 is forced back here with some pretty superior firepower. Panzer IV lands an excellent hit on the engineers, almost wiping out the entire unit. Then we got a Yak Panzer on the way here. Could in theory aim for the Panther, but I rather feel like I want the Yak Panzer now just to sort of support versus the K1, which is so far proven to be really, really difficult to just kill because it just keeps bouncing my Panzer IV shots. So I want, you know, something with a bit more penetration to maybe, you know, do the deed. Need to pull back the Panzer IV a bit further though. K1 rolling ahead here, taking fire from the Panzer IVs. Again, bouncing. Some pretty rubbish like there though. Having some good luck on the end with his shots bouncing. Field gun on the other hand has no issues there, nor the assault gun for that matter. There you go, hard work on fixing up the Panzerkampfwagen, and we got the Yak Panzer IV -70V, V standing for Wehrmacht, which was the manufacturer. There's also a version made by Alkit who actually made the Stugs, but for some reason they ended up making like a huge boxy superstructure, which meant it was actually pretty rubbish for a tank destroyer because it had a big profile. So it actually used as a replacement tank despite not having a turret. So a little fun fact there. Also another fun fact, that little bolt there is actually where it's supposed to be firing an MG42, but for some reason Relic decided it's not supposed to do that. Feeling there coming in the center, we've got the Opposite Marine. The Opposite, by the way, has still not been upgraded. I'm really terrible at that one this match. Panzer IV, they're good to go. Again, more harassment on the left side. Again, just sort of trying to keep up pressure there. Again, I would benefit from launching a larger assault into his rear here, that way catching him off guard. Of course, that will require the mines, but he's spotting out all the mines. And here's the thing, I'm actually worried he's actually layered his mines. He hasn't. I mean, you can see that he doesn't really sort of believe in layering mines much, you know, sort of like a line here, then a line there. But that's what I'm worried about, you know. I'm probably, you know, again, giving my opponent here a bit too much credit when it comes to the mines. I'm just worried, you know, I find one line of mines, go through it, and then move straight into the second line of mines, at which point my panzers are stuck right in front of his field guns, assault guns, and KV tank, at which point they're dead. So I'm sort of trying to suss out my chances here before committing to anything. Up here, another push there with the Officer and the Volksgrenadiere. Also slowly setting up for the bar, as you can notice. But again, I'm waiting for everything to get ready there before making the big plunge. And then I've got North Country caught here by the Volksgrenadiers to Sturmoffizier. Again, a lot of firepower here. Really, the Sturmoffizier is just such a great Oberkommand West unit. Kind of wish they gave the Wehrmacht something like that. And I mean more like, you know, with the abilities here specifically, which the Wehrmacht officer does not get. There you go, Assault sitting up there. Set off mine there, almost wiping out the engineers. In fact, killing them right there. Look, it says, Ludwig, you finally got our Maschinengewehr. Yeah, it apparently got lost into mail. Yeah. Wait, why are they sending our guns into mail? Logistical problems. Oh. There you go, K1 creeping hit their shots, either failing to hit or penetrate. That K1 is really just got the devil's own luck. Obviously, I'm creeping up. It like look, see, can't hit some of the support weapons there. Not me from my arms from hitting there. Go quick button grenade before pulling back. Before trying to get my men wiped. Also got a lightest infantry, which should see for a bit of artillery support. To deal with some of those more dug-in support weapons. And back to fixing up my pants before again trying to circle about through here. Though again, in theory, I could make another move here since now again he's switching more towards the center. Noting, by the way, fuel cache up here for Johan. Not a bad idea. In fact, he's actually teched up here. Go for T-34s, assault or tank destroyers in Katyusha. So in that regard, you're going to give him option there. Go again, another target them. Constantly up there or being engaged up close by the Volksgrenadiers. Taking a lot of damage, even veteran free there. The bonus the officer can basically sort of level against them means they don't stand much of a chance long term. Got the K1 that counter-attacking here to support the infantry on the western flank. Very good move. Closing in on veteran free on that K1 tank though. Interesting to note, he's never tried calling in more than one though. Light infantry gun blasting out half the occupants of the house of the cafe. Storm party out to moving ahead there. Trying to impart spot for mines. Yeah, that didn't work out at all. That did not work out at all. No, we got troops there hitting reinforcing. Still nothing from the mechanized armor company of Johan and the 3rd Guards Tank Corps. And again, he hasn't really done much with this doctrine. I do feel like that's a bit of a miss there by Johan. I mean, a few shock troops in the right place, for example, could be quite effective. But he's building fuel caches, though. He is building fuel caches. Again, he's trying to build up a sufficient fuel hub to that way just overwhelming the armor. So he's probably just planning on swarming with T-34s, which of course means I have to begin, actually thinking about pushing back, so ensuring we don't get to that, because at that point I could very likely end up dead. I've actually got a sufficient resource reserve myself. Also note at this point, the reason why there might not be so much happening is I'm actually kind of exhausted. It was a long evening of streaming, and I think this was more or less my last match, so I'm kind of getting a bit exhausted here. I needed a bit of a breather. So that's sort of what's happening there before committing for another big assault. Just wondering if you sort of like, again, why isn't he doing anything? That's because I'm exhausted, tired. But there you go, much moving it. Again, I can see there's a lot of mines from him, a lot of mines. I need to clear them out there. Watching they're trying to commit here to an assault. There you go. Mines going off in droves. Another set of mines to set off. The cannon for this spotting hit from machine gun inside the house that they got up here. The folks being engaged with the K1, the conscripts. Even as pushing through here, he's not reacting to I think what looks to be a large armored move. In this case, I'll break off, partly because I'm worried he might have to be reacting to it. I don't want to be charging straight into where he's ready for it, so I'll slightly pull back and then try and, wait a bit. I mean, if I, make a wrong move here, it's going to be GG. I mean, I got a large force, but, one wrong move into a lot of mines, all of my tanks been gone in a matter of seconds because Johan does have a lot of anti-tank nonetheless ready for dealing with them. But right here, though, I do manage to catch one of the anti-tank elements of his field gun with my orbital darting, and they do make very light work of it. Veterans run for the Jagdpanzer. Quick bomb grenade on the max and almost wipes the entire thing. Got the Panthers moving ahead here, supported by the Jagdpanzer. Orbital need to retreat though, and there you go, landing an excellent hit in the conscript. The Panthers plow ahead, supported by the Jagdpanzer. Johan doesn't quite enough for the attack to resist it. He actually shouldn't be moving about his field gun like that though. T-34 rolling ahead here, K1 supporting. T-34, in fact, almost getting knocked out. There's the Panthers just furiously hammer away there. K1 now gaining veteran fleet. It's a hero of the Soviet Union, and well earned though. A bit against some extreme luck there when it comes to bouncing off Panzer 4 shots. Shit, collapsing down. This is T-34 desperately tries to get away there. Replacement orbitals on the way since lost the other one. Jagdpanzer almost goes down. Not good, not good. But it gets lucky in the other hand. Now begins just bouncing a lot of his shots. There you go, veteran fleet, Panzer 4 there. Veteran 2 on the other one. And he's really upset he didn't get my Jagdpanzer. And at this point, I'm just sort of, again, personally annoyed I haven't been able to get his K1 because, again, that thing has also been bouncing an awful lot of shots. Not particularly feeling very sympathetic to him, complaining about it not being fair, to be honest. And there you go, he actually rushed his T-34 ahead there for whatever reason, he's just losing it. Not entirely sure what he's doing there. Quite expensive, he's going for another one. But he also needs to call in for infantry. I mean, he's actually learned infantry, but he's got a ton of manpower. And I think that's actually a big mistake here by Johan, who himself, of course, might be getting a bit exhausted at this match. But he certainly needs to sort of, buff it up. There he goes, going for a lot of engineers, so that way sort of carry the burden. Standing by. Hard work down the Jagdpanzer. Grabbing big 2 points for the Fatherland. With another field gun away there for Johan to replace the one lost. I could destroy it, I hadn't. And more breakthrough tactics, just, keep up the rasp and the cut-off. And there you go, slightly moving the everything a bit closer to the battle group headquarters to fix it up there. The Storm Officer is probably one of the few units that actually sort of lasted most of the match, to be honest, for me. Maximum moving up there, he's trying to desperately stall anything in order to bleed there. Johan, though, still needs to consider actually flanking. That's sort of the one big thing Johan has never done. He's never sort of against launched any sort of big flanks against me. In that regard, that's sort of been what I've been doing. Sort of quickly trying outmaneuver, catch him off guard, and that way destroy him again. Like that moment where I caught the assault gun and the T-70, costing quite a bit there. Focus on just with a good executed armored flank. Yeah, Panzer back in action for the fatherland. Almost a full pop cap here, but he'll be thinking about going for mechanized regiments. That way, he sort of long-term set up for King Tiger if it ever gets that far, but also just, mechanized regiment, so I don't have to micromanage repairing my tanks nearly as much, which will certainly put a bit of sort of effort off on. But there you go. Yeah, Panzer gets the field gun net. K1 charges ahead there, bouncing an awful lot of shots again. Like, you'd think that was a King Tiger. The way he's just bouncing everything I'm firing at it. Hell, I don't think a King Tiger would have bounced nearly as many shots. That thing is just made out of, I don't know, pure depleted stellinium. Oh, he finally calls in air reconnaissance. Finally. He's actually using something besides that 1K1 tank. I mean, overall, I would have to describe his stock use as a bit weak. Then again, I'm not doing a lot with it either, but at least I'm using sort of the things here a lot more than he's, doing with his. Big push in the centre with some engineers, but straight to the opposite side waiting there. We've got the Panther Force in reserve and the light infantry gun. Interesting enough, he doesn't push for the machine gun just to wipe it so his infantry can go out and claim the victory points. I'm not entirely sure what Johan was doing with his T-34 there. Then again, it could just be, that whole exhausting thing. There you go, big barrage here, assault gun, field gun firing. Not assault gun firing actually, never mind. Consequently, K1 moving ahead as well. There's a big push into the centre again, into where most of my armour and tank destroyers are waiting. Not exactly the best spot to attack with and into. Again, you should be looking to flank me to outmaneuver me, but most we got a single engineer squad. They're hitting the flank now. Yak Panzer gaining their 2-2 here. Assault gun, field, K1 there, field gun all just blasting away there. Trying to silence the field gun there with my light infantry gun. Actually gets a good hit there. I think Armanium gets it off. Not entirely sure what's happening here. He does spot the mechanized regiment, but the engineers will be running straight past a waiting Obersoldaten squad there. That's not going to be pretty for the remaining engineer. Also super close set of veteran fought on the Panzer IV there. So you can see that Johan is sort of really losing a lot of steam at this point there. He's just not quite able to sort of mount any sort of serious assault. But again, the problem is to an extent he just keeps attacking into where just pointing all of my guns, rather than again trying to do what I did earlier, which is, try to catch him off guard. Of course, he has a big advantage, which is I've actually not been minding my flanks at all. That's actually a big mistake by me, but comparatively, again, he's just not exploiting it. Comparatively, again, I attacked into his flanks despite having, him having mined them. That's only, I think there's some room for improvement by Johan there. Whereas we got forces into a conscript there in heavy cover. 39 kills there, hardened veterans. Iron Cross, first class of the entire lot. Except Dieter. Pissed off the local commander. Anyways, there you go. Forts here for the victory point. East, even laying down sandbags, good work. But you need support from the T-34 to clear up the machine. But there you go, we got the two Panzer Force counter-attacking here. There you go, going straight for the T-34. Crushing the conscript machine gun, the white. But there you go, pushing back the T-34 there. There you go, victory for the Panzer IV, gaining increased range and accuracy. And there you go, almost got the T-34, almost. Does not designed to get defend the victory point here and crush the conscripts by it. Another K1 there, finding out for Johan. I'm not surprised they were considered for some material like the B4, even the Katyusha. And the center unit's been cut to ribbons as well. Overall here, not too much good progress, but he's managed to at least deny me all of the victory points one way or the other. Getting back some bleed there against the German army. But the third Guards tank corps is certainly not looking too sharp either. Infantry-wise, I've still got more, though I have lost his Sturm officers, sadly, and not replaced him. Even more sadly. That's certainly a sad mistake by me. Fresh K1 moving up there to defend the eastern victory point against the fascist invaders. As the Panzer IV strike at it, like Kednev supporting there, quickly taking down to less than half health there. Panzer IV almost reaching 5, in fact, almost got the K1 there. Good, that K1 dies pretty fast. The other one, though, apparently again is just blessed by bloody Stalin himself. Again, they're firing point blank. Getting some damage in. They almost got the assault gun there. In fact, they got the field gun pushing it on. So machine gun then being recruited by some fresh Volksgrenadiers. Jagdpanzer moving in. Halfway to veteran to 3. And Obersoldaten booby trapping the center victory point. Never bad idea to consider booby traps, by the way, they're pretty good. More engineers for Johan. Not infantry, and again, no shock troopers. I'm really surprised in not really at any point considering shock troopers. I think they're actually pretty good from at times. And just this ability to throw down a smoke grenade could have been helpful in covering up some of his attacks against me. There you go, the hero of the Soviet Union there, K1 pushed back. Panzer IV pulling back here for the mechanized regiment headquarters, and now has repair pioneers, just fix them up. And there you go, booby trap leaves the conscripts quite bloodied. But it said free vodka! Don't grab it if it says free vodka, Pushkin! Don't! Stand off there by the eastern victory point. And we got the hero of the Soviet Union assault coming up against the Jagdpanzer. There you go, veteran free on the Jagdpanzer, veteran crew. Panzer IV's more or less good to go there for the German army, for the 17th Panzer Division. As the assault walks down the centre of the control of the centre, but this eastern church there, cemetery, has been gained there by the Russians at a, well, not much of a high cost, honestly. And fresh harassment on the west there by the 41 killed Volksgrenadiers. Counter-attack here. Accelerating down, we got the veteran 4 Panzer IV, almost ace level Panzerkampfwagen. Other Panzer IV moving in, field guns retreating. In fact, support weapons are just falling back there from the eastern flank, which is now rather compromised. March was moving up, might finally be making for a big push down the right flank. Continuing the west, fighting for the fuel point. K1's being repaired, we got another T-54 on the way there for Johan and the 3rd Guards Tank Corps, and a fresh booby trap on the center of victory point. Again, makes it down from just rush, then sort of easily hold it. There you go, Fulton's creeping up here, just to slightly scout ahead. Got the minesweeper teams moving. There you go. The assault is commenced. There you go. K1 blunders straight into it though. Panzer IV Jagdpanzer going in there. Shots penetrating or bouncing. Panzer IV rolling ahead. Assault gun field firing from the south. Veteran 5 there. Ace level Panzer IV up there. Almost got the K1 still. Shots are bouncing off. Jump pods bouncing. T-54 rolling ahead. Straight to the Panzer IV and the Jagdpanzer. Kenner for supporting. And lost a unit somewhere, probably in the west there, but there you go, T-54 down, Jagdpanzer needs some serious repairs, Panzer IV needs to fall back, got the Jagdpanzer pushing it, they're going straight for the K1 there, trying to finish off the bastard Veteran 4 for the Jagdpanzer, increasing its rate of fire and accuracy. Going straight for the fuel cache instead, realising perhaps deny some resources long term. There you go, cash down, T-54 rolling hit straight to the Jagdpanzer line of fire, the Panzer IV, Veteran 3 on the other Panzer IV, both very high rate of fire here, also moving in there. There we go, other Panzer IV, or T-54 down, K1 moving up here on the right flank. Panzer IV, Jagdpanzer turning back to shoot, and there you go, Panzer IV gets it, and with that, all of Johan's armoured forces are gone. Game over, a brutal armoured skirmish here on La Glace with a lot of heavy armoured losses on both sides, losses overall. So some heavy fighting there, a lot of damage done as you can see. With the most valuable unit for him being his assault gun, having done a ton of damage there for Johan, as you can see. K1 though I think also did pretty well. So there you go, GG, game over. Some heavy fighting here on La Glace. Certainly I think highlighting to understand again the power of just, not attacking into where all your opponent's guns, waiting. Had I done that, for example, at some points, I probably would have lost the game. But again, I actually sort of actively sought out, points of attack. The weak spots, broke through there, did some damage, and necessarily pulled back, but I just secured the territory. That way, ensuring I never fell too far behind Johan, who again, is committed to a lot of expensive assaults into the center, not really gaining a lot of traction, not really doing a lot of damage, in fact, soaking it up. That's allowing me to again sort of stay on the foot there as well. So that was, I think, also something rather important. I think one vital lesson of this match. Also, though, I would say reasonably good use of the breakthrough. I couldn't use more. Jagdtiger, I think, was rather off the table here. Wasn't necessary. As for Johan, he could have done with shock troopers, I think. And again, B4, some artillery of other sorts. I think would also done Johan and Maceling. But overall, he's just try and flank and outmaneuver me. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe to your friends, share it with everyone. If you like what I do, wish to support me because trying to do this for a living, do consider it. There's links in the video description. You can do so via Patreon or PayPal. Either is most appreciated. It does a lot for me. So this is ImperialDane signing off, and see you all tomorrow for another Sonic episode. Cheers.